The sportscaster said, "Oh yeah, that's great, but you can't play in the pros because you're too little." And he's in the CFL and the NFL Hall of Fame.
Wow.
And that's because I feel like he did his very best at everything he did, and that he definitely did not listen to the naysayers. So.
Hi, and welcome to Kelly, where we talk about life, your life and my life. And through Kelly, we hope to inspire. I have Ichter Eldredge on the show today, and she is the author of The Sky is the Limit, and we're going to talk about her book and what inspired her to write. And you have another book that's also on the way.
Yes.
I want to share a really quick story as we start off. So Miss Eldredge was my 7th grade teacher. I don't know if it was a Special Olympics team or something, basketball team. And you put me on that team. It was only a team that played like for 2 games or something. But I had, what was it?
Like a little tournament.
It was a little tournament, and I had no idea how to play basketball. I didn't know how to hold a basketball. I didn't know. And I was so embarrassed when I got out on the court because I just knew nothing. Because we didn't have very much practice. It was just a... But then after that, I was so embarrassed that I went and joined a rec ball team, and I learned to play basketball, and I ended up getting picked for all-star teams and things like that in the future. So she's influenced many, many people's lives, my life. So let's talk about the book and what inspired it. Your dad.
Well, my dad helped build the Lunar Module, and he was my person. Not only did he help build it, but there's a piece of it that's named after him. And so about 5 years ago, my mom was ill, and I was still teaching. I was in my 31st year of teaching, and I had to retire early because she was ill. And I was also going to be a new grandmother, and I thought, well, I'm not going to be able to get this time back. So I retired, and I love taking care of my grandchildren. I do that Monday through Wednesday, but I found that I missed affecting children's lives, and I kept having this idea for the ending of a book. So I started thinking more about, well, if I wrote a book, what would the beginning be? What would the middle of the book be? So I tried to think of all the things and the lessons that I tried to teach kids while I was teaching.
Yeah.
How could I kind of cleverly get them in this book? I hope you'll think it's clever anyway. And I wanted the book to grow with the child. So if you feel the cover, I asked the publisher to make it feel like crayon. And my graphics are rather elementary, and I love the graphics, but they're rather elementary, but the concepts, they are not. So my prime target audience when I do my 1-hour presentation for schools is 4th through 6th grade. I also visit civic groups, and I kind of adjust my little presentation to appeal to adults, and I kind of fashion myself a little bit of a storyteller, which when I looked that up the first time I got ready to talk to a civic group, it said if you fashion yourself something, you're probably not. And I said, oh, that's very comforting, right? So anyway, I also visit with future teachers through the colleges. I've been to Jacksonville State University and West Georgia College through the literacy department.
Wow.
And I'm trying to branch out on that a little bit more. But there's so many lessons in the book that I have conversation starters on my website. So for example, the judge in my book is blind. So I talk to the kids about how justice is supposed to be blind and how I feel like we have a ways to go in that regard. And then I make challenges to them. And I really have been amazed I've been to between 70 and 90 schools now, and I've only had 3 children who have been able to say to me, justice is blind, or justice is supposed to be blind.
Like when you were first asking.
When I'm asking them about it. And so I think these are conversations that we should be having with our children.
Absolutely.
I have an interpreter in the book who's in a wheelchair. I talk to the kids about not being afraid to approach people who wear their challenges on the outside, because if you do, you might be giving up a chance for a great friendship. But oftentimes, I think we're afraid to speak to people who are different than us in a lot of ways,
right?
Because we're afraid we're going to say the wrong thing.
Well, and we just don't know how to relate to it in that.
Right.
We tend to stick with people we can relate to, so we're afraid of offending, and we're afraid
and so we don't say anything at all.
Right.
And so I ask them to put themselves in that person's place that's in the wheelchair, and how would that feel? How isolating would that be? I talk about mentors. I talk about mantras. I talk about following your passion. I talk about naysayers. I have a great little naysayer story where in Florida, when we lived down there, Doug Flutie also lived close to us. And his dad was in the space program. And, Doug was told, he was a football player, and he was told that he wouldn't play in college because he was too short for the quarterback position. And so Boston College said, come on, play for us. And he ended up winning the Heisman. And then the sportscaster said, oh, yeah, that's great, but you can't play in the pros because you're too little. And he's in the CFL and the NFL Hall of Fame.
Wow.
And that's because I feel like he did his very best at everything he did, and that he definitely did not listen to the naysayers. So there's a lot of messages in the book, and it's something that'll grow with the child. And I am hoping, I'm working on becoming a nonprofit right now to try to help to get the book into more kids' hands.
Yeah.
And so that's one of my
So
future
through this
plans.
process, because I think in life, we never quit learning about ourselves. We never, we're just, the more that we keep into giving, I think we find out more about ourselves. So through this process, where has it led you as far as what you want for your future or what you hope for?
Well, I'm so proud. I'm so proud of the book, and I think that all I have to do is find the right people to get it to really take off. And if it were to really take off, I have some things that mean a lot to my heart philanthropically. I would like to do. I love kids, so my main thing that I donate my money to is St. Jude's Children's Hospital. But I also have a tender heart for foster children, especially when they're coming out of high school, because when they're coming out of high school, I think they lose a lot of the people that were helping them, and the counselors at the school, and the different, and maybe be just lost. And I have a personal experience with that where a child of my child's one of his best friends that we kept thinking when Chance gets out of school, we're going to help this young man. And, there was a tragic ending there, and it's one of my biggest regrets. And I would like to do something to help that. I also have a very big heart for wrongfully accused and the Innocence Project, and I would like to, spread the word about things like that and have our, more people be fair and just, like Martin Luther King wanted us to judge people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. And so, I would, if my book does well, those are the things that I would
That's
really
awesome.
like
I have
to
a
get
friend,
involved
her
in.
name's Melody Pratt, and she does a lot with, she owns Exodus Ranch. In Douglasville, and she does a lot with foster kids. I should connect you because you never know,
That's
how you
right.
can affect things together. So in closing, you have another book that you're writing.
It's written, and my illustrator, her name's Tony Friedel Jordan. For those of you, she's a Post Road girl, Douglas County High School graduate, and she lives in Panama City Beach, Florida, and has had a few issues in the past year, but things are starting to get better, and I'm waiting for her, and we're going to get it illustrated this summer. And I'm very excited about it because I just think there's nothing like those grandbabies, and it's from a grandparent to a grandchild. So I'm very excited.
Love that.
And I am, seeking a publisher for that.
Okay, good. That's good
There's
for
not a
me to know.
lot of things out there for brands, and it's the most wonderful thing. And so I would like to really brand it,
Yeah. Well, you have affected so many kids in your time in the school system, and it's heartwarming to know that you're moving forward with that, and that you haven't stopped. And it gives you something in your life that you fight for. If you have something to fight for, we live.
Yeah. That's right.
This is for you to remind you that you're a gift in life.
Thank you.
If you have some advice, I want you to talk to people who are retired and think that, they just really don't know what to do next.
Well, I'll tell you that I had this idea, like I said. And so one day I was talking to my brother on the phone, and he's actually an artist that has galleries all over the country that carry his work. But he had written this beautiful little book as a gift to a friend of his. And I said, you need to share this with the world. It's beautiful, blah, blah. And I was really getting on to him, like, come on, man, you know. And so I thought, when I was walking through Target one day, I saw a journal that said, trust your crazy ideas. And so for the audience, you should trust your crazy ideas. When you think and you keep having this pervasive thought that there's something that you should do, go for it. Do it. And then, because you'll never know.
Yeah.
You'll never know. So if there's something that you really want to do, I say go for it.
Go for it. Well, I've been wanting to have you on for a long time. When you first posted your book, I was so excited for you, and I know we kept kind of going back and forth, and I finally got you on. So I'm excited.
And I met the people I met out in your lobby today. I'm just like, oh my gosh, it was just fabulous.
I'm just so blessed to be around such amazing, wonderful people in my life. How do people find out about your book?
It's on Amazon. The sky's the limit. And let me tell you about my website. It's ICKFRID books, that's plural.com. So ichtfridbooks.com. And when you go to my website, there's conversation starters. I'm so proud of the lesson plans on the website. I really think that a teacher could take those plans and use them for all kinds of things. It's like the backbone.
I should experiment in my class, in my acting class.
They're excellent.
I'll experiment.
And also for your kids that are creative, Tony does 2 directive art draws on our website. And so you can order the book off the website, or you can go to Amazon.com. And if you go to Amazon, please leave me a review.
Yes, awesome. Thank you. We hope this segment educated and inspired you.